The short answer is yes. If you want to become the best possible trader and reach your full potential and make as much money as possible, I highly recommend you implement some form of fundamental analysis into your trading. But if you're hungry for more, let's dive in deeper. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Matt L, and I'm a full-time Forex trader living in Montreal. If you get value from this video, please hit that subscribe button. And now that we're friends, let's dive into the video. When it comes to technical analysis, the die-hard purist will say that it's the only thing that matters, that all known variables are already priced into the instrument. Richard Dennis, a legendary trader, was quoted in the book The Complete Turtle Trader as saying he cares much more about what
Sigmund Shlomo Freud
has to say about psychology than what the Wall Street Journal is saying about current economic data. Now, I think this is a really interesting point. That is a really interesting perspective. To stay on top of macroeconomic data, political and geopolitical current events is basically a full-time job. It's never ending, and you can cut through all of the noise by just focusing purely on price action and merge with the idea that every possible variable that is currently known is already priced in. But for those that are strong advocates for fundamental analysis, they'll say differently. I've been saying for a long time that it's not technical analysis that moves price. It's the fundamentals behind those technicals. An instrument is trending up or down because of fundamentals. It's because of how the market is perceiving the value of that instrument. It's not because there's some big trend line or key level that's turned the instrument into a sudden bullish or bearish trend. And so that brings us to a crossroads. Do we go all in on fundamentals or forget them and go all in on technicals? Well, in the wise words of the Buddha, it's somewhere in the middle. It's the middle way. It's somewhere in between those two extremes. I don't think you need to spend half of your day scrolling through every economic and Forex website in order to get a grasp on what's happening in the market. But I do think at a very bare minimum, you need to know the major economic data points that are coming out for that week and for that day. There's nothing worse than getting into a trade only to have it go against you because of a huge news event that you had no idea was going to come out. In the Apex Paragon course, Sammy says that you should know whether a pair is moving up or down before you even look at the charts. And I think that is super interesting. It's much easier said than done, and it requires a pretty big jump in your level of understanding fundamentals. But I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to not only be a better trader, but just to have a better understanding of how the world works. It will take a big commitment though, and I think learning fundamentals is by far one of the hardest, if not the hardest aspect on your trading journey. Depending on your current level of understanding in regards to economics, it can be an incredibly steep learning curve. And I know for myself, implementing fundamentals into my trading has been and continues to be one of the hardest aspects of my trading. So I encourage you, if you haven't already, to start small. Don't let the vastness of economic data and the whole fundamental landscape deter you from trying to learn and implement some form of it into your trading. You'll be a better trader because of it. So in the spirit of starting small, I encourage you to start by just staying up to date on the major news events that are coming out that week and that day. This will help you avoid any huge movements that will go against a trade that you may or may be getting into. For example, if you're about to take a trade on gold and you see that there's some large US data coming out, well, depending on your trade and depending on the data and what's expected, you may be better off avoiding that trade and just waiting for the next one. On top of staying up to date with the news, another great entry point is learning about currency correlations. A lot of people have been messaging me on Twitter, which I really appreciate. I always enjoy hearing from you guys. And a question that I've been getting repeatedly is where to start in terms of learning fundamentals. And once you're up to date with the news, a really good place to start is learning currency correlations. It's a crucial skill for a trader to understand how a currency works in relation to the risk sentiment in the market and in relation to other currencies. So, for example, why is it that the yen and the US dollar tend to increase in risk-averse environments? And why is it that the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar tend to decrease in times of risk-off sentiments? Now, if you've been trading for a while, these answers may seem very simple, but when I first started trading, I had no idea. And when I first started to learn these correlations and the relationships between sentiments and currencies versus currencies, it was a huge eye-opener for me, and it totally transformed my trading. So if you're not familiar with these, or if you're just new to trading, I highly recommend you start learning them. Just hop on Google and do a little bit of research. You'll be able to find your answers in not too long. I won't lie and tell you it's easy. Like I said, fundamentals continues to be one of the hardest aspects of my trading, and it is for many other traders as well. But remember, many are called, but few are chosen. So, how bad do you want it? If you made it this far, guys, as always, I appreciate it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of fundamental analysis and how you use it in your trading. I just launched my own website where I'll be releasing a newsletter once or twice a month where I'll be sharing some of the most interesting things that I've learned in the last month or so, some market ideas that I may have, and anything else that I come across or think about that I think will provide you guys value. So if you're interested in joining that mailing list, you can click on the link down below. I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, until then, peace.